I still remember that Thanksgiving day in Indianapolis like it was yesterday. The crowded family table, the smell of roasted turkey and pumpkin pie, the sound of laughter and chatter. It was supposed to be a day of celebration, of gratitude, of togetherness. But for me, it was the day that changed everything. My dad, with his characteristic charm and sarcasm, raised his glass and dropped the insult that would become the catalyst for my journey. "Some kids make you proud," he said, his eyes scanning the table. "Others just take up space." The room fell silent, and I could feel all eyes on me. My family laughed, thinking it was just another one of my dad's jokes, but I knew better. I knew that beneath his words was a deep-seated disappointment, a sense of disapproval that I had grown all too familiar with. I looked around the table, taking in the faces of my loved ones. My mom, with her forced smile, trying to play it off like it was no big deal. My brother, Mason, with his athletic build and charming grin, basking in the attention and admiration of our parents. And me, Nora, the quiet, book-smart one, always trying to shrink myself to fit into the shadows. But something inside me shifted that day. Maybe it was the cumulative effect of years of feeling belittled, of being made to feel like I wasn't good enough. Maybe it was the realization that I didn't have to take it anymore. Whatever it was, I felt a spark of defiance ignite within me. I took a deep breath, and with a calm, steady voice, I responded, "Good thing I just got my own place 3,000 miles away." The room fell silent again, and this time it was a different kind of silence. It was a silence of shock, of surprise, of uncertainty. My family didn't know what to make of my announcement. They thought I was joking, that I was just trying to get a rise out of them, but I was dead serious. I had already made up my mind to leave, to start a new life in a place where I could be myself, without the weight of my family's expectations and disappointments. As I looked around the table, I saw the shock and confusion in their eyes. My mom's face was pale, her eyes wide with worry. My brother's grin had faltered, replaced by a look of concern. And my dad, well, my dad just looked angry. Angry that I was leaving. Angry that I was taking control of my life. Angry that I was no longer the timid, obedient daughter he thought I was. But I wasn't having it. I wasn't going to let their opinions, their expectations, dictate my life anymore. I was taking back control, and I was starting fresh. As I walked out of that crowded family table, I felt a sense of liberation wash over me. I knew it wouldn't be easy, that there would be challenges and obstacles along the way, but I was ready. I was ready to take on the world, to make a new life for myself, to prove to myself that I was worthy of love, of respect, of happiness. And as I stepped out into the cold Indianapolis air, I felt a sense of clarity that I had never felt before. Leaving wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. It was a chance for me to start anew, to rediscover myself, to find my own path in life. I took a deep breath, feeling the chill of the air fill my lungs, and I started walking. I walked away from the only life I had ever known, away from the people who were supposed to love and support me. But I wasn't alone. I had myself, and that was all I needed. As I walked, the city lights blurred together, a kaleidoscope of color and sound. I felt a sense of freedom, of release that I had never experienced before. I was finally taking up space, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally. I was finally allowing myself to be seen, to be heard, to be felt. And as I disappeared into the night, I knew that I would never be the same again. I had been changed by that insult, by that moment of clarity. I had been changed by the realization that I was worthy of love, of respect, of happiness, and I was determined to make the most of it. The days that followed were a blur of activity as I prepared to leave my old life behind. I packed my bags, said goodbye to the few friends I had, and boarded a plane to Seattle. The city was a revelation, a place of beauty and wonder, of creativity and innovation. I felt alive, like I had finally found my place in the world. But as I settled into my new life, I couldn't shake off the feeling that I had left something behind. I had left behind the comfort of familiarity, the security of knowing what to expect. I had left behind the people who were supposed to love and support me, even if they didn't always show it. And yet, as I looked out at the city, at the towering skyscrapers and the bustling streets, I knew that I had made the right decision.
I had taken a chance on myself, on my own happiness. I had taken up space, and it felt amazing. As the weeks turned into months, I started to feel a sense of belonging in my new city. I made new friends, people who accepted me for who I was, without judgment or expectation. I found a job that I loved, a job that challenged me and fulfilled me. I started to feel like I was a part of something bigger than myself, something that mattered. And yet, as much as I had grown and changed, I knew that I still had a long way to go. I still had to confront the wounds of my past, to heal the scars that had been left behind. I still had to learn to love and accept myself, to trust myself and my own abilities. But as I stood on my balcony, looking out at the city lights, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. I knew that I was on the right path, that I was taking the right steps towards healing and growth. I knew that I would stumble, that I would fall, but I also knew that I would get back up again. And as I looked out at the world, I knew that I was ready for whatever came next. I was ready to take on the challenges, to face the obstacles, to make the most of every opportunity. I was ready to take up space, to be seen and heard and felt. I was ready to live. As I sit here, reflecting on my childhood, I'm taken back to a time when I felt like I was living in the shadow of my brother, Mason. He was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. And I was just there. My dad would often praise Mason's achievements, no matter how small they seemed. While my own accomplishments were met with a dismissive wave of his hand. It was as if I was invisible, a mere afterthought in the grand scheme of our family's life. I remember one particular instance when I brought home an award for excelling in math, and my dad barely even looked up from his newspaper. He grunted a half-hearted, "Good job," before turning back to the sports section. Meanwhile, Mason had just scored a goal in his soccer game. And my dad was beaming with pride, talking about it for hours on end. It was like I was a ghost hovering on the periphery of our family, never quite substantial enough to warrant any real attention. My mom, on the other hand, seemed to avoid conflict at all costs. She'd often silence me when I tried to express my feelings, telling me to not make a fuss or be grateful for what I had. She'd remind me that Mason was going through a tough time. And that I should be more understanding. But what about my tough times? What about my feelings? It was like I was expected to shrink, to make myself smaller, to accommodate everyone else's needs and emotions. As a result, I learned to suppress my own desires and aspirations. I'd watch Mason get praised for his athletic prowess. And I'd think to myself, maybe if I was more like him, I'd be loved and appreciated too. But deep down, I knew that wasn't true. I knew that I had my own strengths and talents. But they were constantly being overlooked and undervalued. I began to feel like I was living in a world where my presence was merely tolerated, not truly seen or appreciated. It was a feeling of being stuck in limbo, never quite belonging, never quite being enough. And it was exhausting, trying to navigate this complex web of emotions and expectations. But amidst all this, I found solace in the basement. It was my sanctuary, my escape from the chaos that seemed to reign supreme upstairs. I'd spend hours down there, tinkering with electronics, lost in the world of machines and circuits. It was a place where I could be alone, where I could think and feel without being judged or criticized. And then, there was Grandma. She'd visit us every week, and she'd always make a point to talk to me, to listen to me, to see me. She'd ask me about my interests, about my passions, and she'd actually listen to what I had to say. She'd tell me that I saw the world differently, and that it was okay to be unique, to be myself. She was the first adult who made me feel like I was worth something, like I was valuable and deserving of love and respect. As I look back, I realize that my childhood was a complex tapestry of emotions and experiences. It was a time of feeling invisible, of being overshadowed by my brother's achievements. But it was also a time of discovery, of finding my own strengths and passions. And it was a time of learning to navigate the complexities of family dynamics and relationships. But even with all these memories, I still can't help but wonder, what would have happened if my parents had seen me, truly seen me? When I was growing up, would I have felt more confident, more loved, more valued? Or would I have still felt like I was just taking up space, like I was just a ghost hovering on the periphery of our family's life? As I sit here, reflecting on my childhood, I'm reminded of the power of perception, of how our experiences shape us, and how they can either break us or make us stronger. And I'm left with a question that I'll continue to explore as I share my story with you. What happens when we're forced to confront the wounds of our past, and how do we find the strength to heal and move forward? I remember the smell of our old house, the way the sunlight would filter through the windows, and the sound of my parents' voices, always talking, always arguing. It was a cacophony of emotions, a never-ending cycle of tension and stress. And I was just a kid, trying to make sense of it all, trying to find my place in the world. But as I grew older, I began to realize that I wasn't alone. There were others out there, others who had experienced similar struggles, similar feelings of isolation and disconnection. And I began to wonder, what if we could connect? What if we could share our stories, our struggles, and our triumphs? What if we could find a way to heal, to move forward, together? As I look back on my childhood, I'm reminded of the importance of human connection, of empathy, and of understanding. I'm reminded that we're not alone, that we're all in this together. And that our stories, our struggles, and our triumphs are what make us human. And so, I'll continue to share my story, to explore the complexities of my childhood, and to examine the ways in which my experiences have shaped me. I'll delve into the intricacies of family dynamics, and the ways in which our relationships can both hurt and heal us. And I'll ask the questions that have haunted me for so long, the questions that have driven me to seek answers, to seek connection, and to seek healing. What happens when we're forced to confront the wounds of our past? How do we find the strength to heal and move forward? And what does it mean to truly see ourselves, to truly love ourselves, and to truly find our place in the world? These are the questions that I'll continue to explore, and I invite you to join me on this journey, a journey of self-discovery, of healing, and of growth. As I reflect on my childhood, I'm reminded of the power of stories, of the ways in which they can shape us, and of the ways in which they can heal us. I'm reminded that our experiences, our struggles, and our triumphs are what make us human, and that by sharing our stories, we can connect with others, we can find empathy, and we can find understanding. And so, I'll continue to share my story, to explore the complexities of my childhood, and to examine the ways in which my experiences have shaped me. I'll delve into the intricacies of family dynamics, and the ways in which our relationships can both hurt and heal us. And I'll ask the questions that have haunted me for so long, the questions that have driven me to seek answers, to seek connection, and to seek healing. What happens when we're forced to confront the wounds of our past? How do we find the strength to heal and move forward? And what does it mean to truly see ourselves, to truly love ourselves, and to truly find our place in the world? These are the questions that I'll continue to explore. And I invite you to join me on this journey, a journey of self-discovery, of healing, and of growth. As I sit here, reflecting on my childhood, I'm reminded of the importance of taking our time, of being patient, and of being kind to ourselves. I'm reminded that healing is a process, a journey that takes time, effort, and courage. And I'm reminded that we're not alone, that we're all in this together, and that our stories, our struggles, and our triumphs are what make us human. And so, I'll take a deep breath. And I'll continue to share my story, to explore the complexities of my childhood, and to examine the ways in which my experiences have shaped me. I'll delve into the intricacies of family dynamics, and the ways in which our relationships can both hurt and heal us. And I'll ask the questions that have haunted me for so long, the questions that have driven me to seek answers, to seek connection, and to seek healing. What happens when we're forced to confront the wounds of our past? How do we find the strength to heal and move forward? And what does it mean to truly see ourselves, to truly love ourselves, and to truly find our place in the world? These are the questions that I'll continue to explore, and I invite you to join me on this journey, a journey of self-discovery, of healing, and of growth. As I reflect on my childhood, I'm reminded of the power of hope, of the power of resilience, and of the power of the human spirit. I'm reminded that we're capable of overcoming even the most daunting challenges, and that we're capable of finding healing, connection, and love, even in the darkest of times. And so, I'll hold on to hope, I'll hold on to resilience, and I'll hold on to the power of the human spirit. I'll continue to share my story, to explore the complexities of my childhood, and to examine the ways in which my experiences have shaped me. I'll delve into the intricacies of family dynamics, and the ways in which our relationships can both hurt and heal us. And I'll ask the questions that have haunted me for so long, the questions that have driven me to seek answers, to seek connection, and to seek healing. What happens when we're forced to confront the wounds of our past? How do we find the strength to heal and move forward? And what does it mean to truly see ourselves, to truly love ourselves, and to truly find our place in the world? These are the questions that I'll continue to explore, and I invite you to join me on this journey, a journey of self-discovery, of healing, and of growth. As I sit here, reflecting on my childhood, I'm reminded of the importance of self-care, of taking care of ourselves, and of being kind to ourselves. I'm reminded that healing is a journey that takes time, effort, and courage. And I'm reminded that we're not alone, that we're all in this together, and that our stories, our struggles, and our triumphs are what make us human. And so, I'll take care of myself, I'll be kind to myself, and I'll continue to share my story, to explore the complexities of my childhood, and to examine the ways in which my experiences have shaped me. I'll delve into the intricacies of family dynamics, and the ways in which our relationships can both hurt and heal us. And I'll ask the questions that have haunted me for so long, the questions that have driven me to seek answers, to seek connection, and to seek healing. What happens when we're forced to confront the wounds of our past? How do we find the strength to heal and move forward? And what does it mean to truly see ourselves, to truly love ourselves, and to truly find our place in the world? These are the questions that I'll continue to explore. And I invite you to join me on this journey, a journey of self-discovery, of healing, and of growth. As I reflect on my childhood, I'm reminded of the power of forgiveness, of the power of letting go, and of the power of moving forward. I'm reminded that we're capable of overcoming even the most daunting challenges, and that we're capable of finding healing, connection, and love, even in the darkest of times. And so, I'll forgive, I'll let go. And I'll move forward. I'll continue to share my story, to explore the complexities of my childhood, and to examine the ways in which my experiences have shaped me. I'll delve into the intricacies of family dynamics, and the ways in which our relationships can both hurt and heal us. And I'll ask the questions that have haunted me for so long, the questions that have driven me to seek answers, to seek connection, and to seek healing. What happens when we're forced to confront the wounds of our past? How do we find the strength to heal and move forward? And what does it mean to truly see ourselves, to truly love ourselves, and to truly find our place in the world? These are the questions that I'll continue to explore. And I invite you to join me on this journey, a journey of self-discovery, of healing, and of growth. As I sit here, reflecting on my childhood, I'm reminded of the importance of gratitude, of being thankful for what we have, and of being thankful for the people in our lives. I'm reminded that healing is a journey that takes time, effort, and courage. And I'm reminded that we're not alone, that we're all in this together, and that our stories, our struggles, and our triumphs are what make us human. And so, I'll be grateful, I'll be thankful. And I'll continue to share my story, to explore the complexities of my childhood, and to examine the ways in which my experiences have shaped me. I'll delve into the intricacies of family dynamics, and the ways in which our relationships can both hurt and heal us. And I'll ask the questions that have haunted me for so long, the questions that have driven me to seek answers, to seek connection, and to seek healing. What happens when we're forced to confront the wounds of our past? How do we find the strength to heal and move forward? And what does it mean to truly see ourselves, to truly love ourselves, and to truly find our place in the world? These are the questions that I'll continue to explore, and I invite you to join me on this journey, a journey of self-discovery, of healing, and of growth. As I reflect on my childhood, I'm reminded of the power of love, of the power of compassion, and of the power of empathy. I'm reminded that we're capable of overcoming even the most daunting challenges, and that we're capable of finding healing, connection, and love, even in the darkest of times. And so, I'll spread love, I'll spread compassion, and I'll spread empathy. I'll continue to share my story, to explore the complexities of my childhood, and to examine the ways in which my experiences have shaped me. I'll delve into the intricacies of family dynamics, and the ways in which our relationships can both hurt and heal us. And I'll ask the questions that have haunted me for so long, the questions that have driven me to seek answers, to seek connection, and to seek healing. What happens when we're forced to confront the wounds of our past? How do we find the strength to heal and move forward? And what does it mean to truly see ourselves, to truly love ourselves, and to truly find our place in the world? These are the questions that I'll continue to explore, and I invite you to join me on this journey, a journey of self-discovery, of healing, and of growth. As I sit here, reflecting on my childhood, I'm reminded of the importance of self-love, of self-acceptance, and of self-forgiveness. I'm reminded that healing is a journey that takes time, effort, and courage. And I'm reminded that we're not alone, that we're all in this together, and that our stories, our struggles, and our triumphs are what make us human. And so, I'll love myself, I'll accept myself, and I'll forgive myself. I'll continue to share my story, to explore the complexities of my childhood, and to examine the ways in which my experiences have shaped me. I'll delve into the intricacies of family dynamics, and the ways in which our relationships can both hurt and heal us. And I'll ask the questions that have haunted me for so long, the questions that have driven me to seek answers, to seek connection, and to seek healing. What happens when we're forced to confront the wounds of our past? How do we find the strength to heal and move forward? And what does it mean to truly see ourselves, to truly love ourselves, and to truly find our place in the world? These are the questions that I'll continue to explore, and I invite you to join me on this journey, a journey of self-discovery, of healing, and of growth. As I reflect on my childhood, I'm reminded of the power of community, of the power of connection, and of the power of shared human experience. I'm reminded that we're capable of overcoming even the most daunting challenges, and that we're capable of finding healing, connection, and love, even in the darkest of times. And so, I'll reach out, I'll connect, and I'll build community. I'll continue to share my story, to explore the complexities of my childhood, and to examine the ways in which my experiences have shaped me. I'll delve into the intricacies of family dynamics, and the ways in which our relationships can both hurt and heal us. And I'll ask the questions that have haunted me for so long, the questions that have driven me to seek answers, to seek connection, and to seek healing. What happens when we're forced to confront the wounds of our past? How do we find the strength to heal and move forward? And what does it mean to truly see ourselves, to truly love ourselves, and to truly find our place in the world? These are the questions that I'll continue to explore. And I invite you to join me on this journey, a journey of self-discovery, of healing, and of growth. As I walked down the creaky stairs into the basement, the chaos of the upstairs world slowly faded away. It was like entering a different dimension, one where the rules of the house didn't apply. And I could finally breathe. The air was thick with the smell of old electronics and machinery, a scent that became my comfort. This was my sanctuary, my escape from the constant feeling of being invisible. I remember the first time I stumbled upon this haven. I must have been around 10 years old, searching for a place to hide from the noise and the expectations. My brother, Mason, was practicing his football drills in the backyard, and my parents were cheering him on. And always, I felt like an outsider, a spectator in my own family. But as I explored the basement, I found a treasure trove of discarded electronics and machines. My dad, being the handyman he thought he was, had collected all sorts of gadgets and gizmos, intending to fix them someday. But someday never came, and they ended up gathering dust in the basement. I was fascinated by the way things worked, by the intricate mechanisms and the way they could be taken apart and put back together. It was like solving a puzzle, and I was hooked. I spent hours down there, tinkering with old radios, clocks, and even a broken toaster. My parents would occasionally yell down, asking me to come up and join the family. But I'd just pretend I didn't hear them. I was too busy discovering my own little world. As I grew older, the basement became more than just a hiding spot. It was a place where I could be myself, without the fear of judgment or criticism. I could let my hair down, literally and figuratively, and just be. I'd spend hours working on projects, building and creating things that made sense to me. It was my own little laboratory, where I could experiment and learn without the pressure of being perfect. The visual contrast between the chaotic upstairs and the calm downstairs was striking. Upstairs, everything was neat and tidy, with its perfect facade and forced smiles. But downstairs, it was a different story. The basement was cluttered, with wires and tools scattered all over the place. It was messy. But it was my kind of messy. It was organized chaos, where every screw and every wire had its own special place. I remember one time, my mom came down to the basement, looking for something. She was taken aback by the state of the room, and her first instinct was to start cleaning. But I stopped her, explaining that everything was exactly where I needed it to be. She looked at me, puzzled, and said, "But Nora, it's so cluttered and dirty down here." I just smiled and said, "That's because it's mine." She didn't understand. And she left me alone. And I was grateful for that. The basement became my happy place, my go-to spot when I needed to escape the drama and the noise. It was where I could recharge, refocus, and remind myself that I was more than just a spectator in my own family. I was a creator, a builder, and a problem solver. And as I worked on my projects, I'd often think about my grandma, who would visit us every week. She was the only adult who seemed to understand me, who saw the world from my perspective. She'd sit with me in the basement, watching me work, and asking me questions about my projects. She was my ally, my confidant, and my friend. As I look back, I realized that the basement was more than just a physical space. It was a symbol of my independence, my creativity, and my resilience. It was a reminder that I didn't have to conform to the expectations of others, that I could forge my own path and create my own destiny. And as I prepared to leave for college, 3,000 miles away from the chaos of my childhood, I knew that I would carry the lessons of the basement with me. I would take the freedom, the creativity, and the sense of self-worth that I had discovered in that cluttered, messy space. And I would use it to build a new life, one that was truly mine. But little did I know, the journey ahead would be filled with its own set of challenges and surprises. I would face new obstacles, new critics, and new doubts. But I was ready, armed with the knowledge that I had discovered in the basement. I was ready to take on the world, to make my own way, and to create my own space. And as I walked out of the house, leaving the chaos behind, I felt a sense of excitement, of anticipation, and of freedom. I was finally taking my space, 3,000 miles away from the people and the places that had tried to define me. I was taking my space. And I was never looking back. As I reflect on the moments that shaped me, I'm reminded of the one person who saw me, truly saw me, when it felt like no one else did, my grandma. Her weekly visits were a highlight of my childhood, a time when I could escape the chaos of our household and just be myself. She'd arrive with a warm smile, a kind word, and a spark in her eye that made me feel like I was the most interesting person in the world. Those afternoons with Grandma were a sanctuary, a time when I could let my guard down and explore my curiosity without fear of judgment. She'd ask me questions about my interests, about what I loved and what I hated. And she'd listen with an intensity that made me feel like my thoughts mattered. It was a feeling I didn't often experience at home, where my opinions were frequently dismissed or diminished. Grandma had this way of making me feel seen, of validating my emotions and encouraging me to think for myself. She'd say things like, "You see the world differently, Nora. And that's a gift. Don't let anyone tell you it's wrong." Her words were like a balm to my soul, soothing the wounds of a childhood where I often felt like I was living in the shadows. As I grew older, Grandma's influence only deepened. She became the one person I could talk to about my dreams, my fears, and my aspirations. She'd offer advice, not by telling me what to do, but by sharing her own experiences and letting me learn from them. Her stories were like a treasure trove of wisdom, filled with lessons about resilience, perseverance, and the importance of staying true to oneself. One of the things I loved most about Grandma was her ability to find the beauty in unexpected places. She'd point out the way the light filtered through the leaves of a tree, or the sound of the wind rustling through the grass. She had this way of making me see the world with fresh eyes, of helping me appreciate the small wonders that often go unnoticed. As I look back, I realize that Grandma was the first adult to truly see my potential. She didn't just see me as the daughter of my parents or the sister of Mason, she saw me as an individual, with my own strengths and weaknesses. She encouraged me to pursue my passions, even when they didn't align with my family's expectations. And she taught me that it was okay to be different, that it was okay to take up space in a world that often seemed determined to shrink me. Those weekly visits with Grandma were a reminder that I didn't have to conform to my family's expectations. I didn't have to be the person they wanted me to be. I could be the person I was meant to be. It was a liberating feeling, one that gave me the courage to start exploring my own interests and desires. As I began to assert my independence, Grandma was there to support me every step of the way. She'd listen to my plans, offer words of encouragement, and remind me that I was capable of achieving anything I set my mind to. And when I finally made the decision to leave for college, she was the one person who truly understood why I needed to go. I remember the day I told her about my acceptance into the engineering program. She beamed with pride, not just because I was going to college, but because I was taking a chance on myself. She knew that it wouldn't be easy, that I'd face challenges and setbacks along the way. But she also knew that I was ready, that I had the strength and the resilience to overcome any obstacle. As I prepared to leave, Grandma gave me a small gift, a necklace with a tiny compass pendant. She told me that it was to remind me to always stay true to myself, to never lose sight of my own direction. It was a symbol of her love and support, a reminder that I'd always have a safe haven, no matter where life took me. As I look back on those formative years, I realized that Grandma's influence was instrumental in shaping me into the person I am today. She taught me to be brave, to take risks, and to trust myself. And she showed me that it's okay to take up space, to be seen and heard, and to live a life that's true to who I am. But as much as Grandma's support meant to me, I knew that I couldn't stay in the comfort zone of my childhood forever. I had to spread my wings, to explore the world beyond the familiar boundaries of my hometown. And so, with a sense of excitement and trepidation, I set off on my journey, ready to discover who I was and what I was capable of. Little did I know that the road ahead would be filled with twists and turns, challenges and triumphs. But with Grandma's love and guidance etched in my heart, I was ready to take on whatever came next. As I sat at my desk, staring at the acceptance letter in my hands, I felt a mix of emotions swirling inside me. I had done it. I had gotten accepted into an engineering program 3,000 miles away from the chaos of my family's house. It was a chance to start fresh, to leave behind the toxic dynamics that had suffocated me for so long. But as I looked around my room, I knew that this decision wouldn't be easy. My dad would barely react, and my mom wouldn't defend me. I would have to pay my own way, fly across the country, and start a new life from scratch. I remembered the day I told my parents about my acceptance. My dad was sitting on the couch, watching TV, and my mom was cooking dinner in the kitchen. I walked into the room, letter in hand, and announced the news. My dad barely looked up, grunting a half-hearted congratulations. My mom smiled, but it was a weak, insincere smile. She didn't ask me about my plans, or how I was going to make it work. She just kept cooking, like it was no big deal. I felt a pang of disappointment, but I wasn't surprised. This was typical of my family's dynamics. My dad was always distant, and my mom was always avoiding conflict. I had learned to rely on myself, to make my own decisions, and to take care of my own needs. And now, as I was about to embark on this new journey, I knew that I would have to do it all on my own. The days that followed were a blur of activity. I applied for scholarships, secured a loan, and booked my flight. I packed my bags, said goodbye to my grandma, and set off into the unknown. As I soared through the skies, I felt a sense of liberation wash over me. I was finally free from the toxic environment that had held me back for so long. When I arrived at my new college, I was struck by the beauty of the campus. The buildings were modern, the grounds were lush, and the people were friendly. I felt a sense of excitement and nervousness as I made my way to my dorm room. I was about to start a new chapter of my life, and I had no idea what to expect. As I settled into my new routine, I began to build a new life for myself. I made new friends, joined new clubs, and explored my new city. I found solace in the anonymity of the crowd, and I reveled in the freedom to be myself. I no longer had to worry about my family's expectations or their constant criticism. I was finally free to pursue my own dreams and to make my own decisions. But as much as I was enjoying my new life, I knew that I couldn't shake off my past completely. The wounds of my childhood still lingered, and the memories of my family's toxicity still haunted me. I knew that I would have to confront these demons head-on if I wanted to truly heal. And so, I began to see a therapist, to work through my emotions, and to process my experiences. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't always comfortable. But as I delved deeper into my own psyche, I began to uncover the roots of my pain. I realized that my family's behavior had been a product of their own insecurities and their own fears. They had been trapped in their own toxic dynamics, and they had taken it out on me. But I was no longer a victim. I was a survivor, and I was determined to thrive. As I looked out at the city skyline, I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. I had taken my space, 3,000 miles away from the people who had tried to suffocate me. I had built a new life, free from the toxic dynamics that had held me back for so long. And I had done it all on my own, without the approval or the support of my family. But as I stood there, basking in the glow of my newfound freedom, I knew that I couldn't forget where I came from. I couldn't forget the pain, the struggle, and the sacrifice that had brought me to this place. I had to honor my own journey, and I had to share my story with the world. And so, I began to write, to speak, and to share my truth with anyone who would listen. It wasn't always easy, and it wasn't always comfortable. But as I shared my story, I began to connect with others who had gone through similar experiences. I found solace in their stories, and I found strength in their resilience. And I realized that I was not alone, that there were others out there who had been through the same struggles, and who had come out on top. As I looked out at the city, I knew that I still had a long way to go. I still had to navigate the complexities of my own emotions, and I still had to confront the demons of my past. But I was no longer afraid, and I was no longer alone. I had found my voice, and I had found my tribe, and I knew that I would always be okay, no matter what lay ahead. The months that followed were a whirlwind of activity. I threw myself into my studies, and I began to build a new community for myself. I made friends, I joined clubs, and I started to explore my new city. I found solace in the anonymity of the crowd, and I reveled in the freedom to be myself. I no longer had to worry about my family's expectations or their constant criticism. I was finally free to pursue my own dreams and to make my own decisions. But as much as I was enjoying my new life, I knew that I couldn't shake off my past completely. The wounds of my childhood still lingered, and the memories of my family's toxicity still haunted me. I knew that I would have to confront these demons head-on if I wanted to truly heal. And so, I continued to see my therapist, to work through my emotions, and to process my experiences. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't always comfortable. But as I delved deeper into my own psyche, I began to uncover the roots of my pain. I realized that my family's behavior had been a product of their own insecurities and their own fears. They had been trapped in their own toxic dynamics, and they had taken it out on me. But I was no longer a victim. I was a survivor, and I was determined to thrive. As I looked out at the city skyline, I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. I had taken my space, 3,000 miles away from the people who had tried to suffocate me. I had built a new life, free from the toxic dynamics that had held me back for so long. And I had done it all on my own, without the approval or the support of my family. I took a deep breath, feeling the cool breeze on my face. I knew that I still had a long way to go, but I was ready for whatever lay ahead. I was ready to face my demons, to heal my wounds, and to build a new life for myself. And I knew that no matter what, I would always be okay. Because I had finally found my own space, my own voice. Because my own freedom. I still remember the chill of that Indianapolis air as I stepped out of the house, the sound of my family's stunned silence still echoing in my mind. It was as if time had frozen. And all that existed was the cold, harsh reality of my dad's words: some kids make you proud. Others just take up space. The laughter that followed still haunts me, a painful reminder of the wounds that had been festering for years. As I walked away from the house, the darkness of the night seemed to swallow me whole. I felt a sense of liberation, yet at the same time, I was aware of the weight of my decision. I had just told my family that I was leaving, that I had found a new home 3,000 miles away. The thought sent shivers down my spine. But I knew it was something I had to do. The streets were empty, save for the occasional passerby hurrying to find warmth. I walked, my feet carrying me away from the chaos, away from the pain. The city lights blurred together, a kaleidoscope of colors that seemed to mock me, reminding me of all the times I had felt like I didn't belong. But with each step, I felt a sense of determination growing within me. I was taking back control, reclaiming my space. Flashbacks began to flood my mind, memories of all the times I had felt like I was just a burden, a nuisance to my family. I remembered the countless hours I had spent in the basement, tinkering with machines, trying to find solace in the silence. I recalled the words of my grandma, the one person who had seen me, truly seen me, when it felt like no one else did. Her voice echoed in my mind: "You see the world differently. Don't let them tell you it's wrong." The memories blended with the present. And I found myself standing in front of a small cafe, the lights of which seemed to beckon me in. I pushed open the door, and the warmth enveloped me, a stark contrast to the cold outside. I sat down at a table, my mind still reeling from the events of the night. The barista asked me what I wanted, and I ordered a coffee, my voice barely above a whisper. As I waited for my drink, I couldn't help but think about the journey that had brought me here. I thought about the acceptance letter, the excitement, and the fear that had gripped me when I decided to leave. I thought about the long flights, the new city, and the struggles I had faced. But most of all, I thought about the sense of freedom that had slowly begun to seep into my bones. The coffee arrived, and I took a sip, feeling the warmth spread through my body. It was a small comfort, but it was enough. I pulled out my phone and began to scroll through my emails, my eyes scanning the messages from my friends, from my new life. The words blurred together, but one message caught my eye: an invitation to a Thanksgiving dinner, a gathering of people who had become my new family. I smiled, feeling a sense of belonging that I had never experienced before. It was a small, tentative smile, but it was a start. I realized that leaving wasn't an ending, it was a boundary. It was a declaration of my worth, a statement that I deserved to be seen, to be heard. The thought sent a shiver down my spine. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was home. The cafe began to fill with people, the sounds of laughter and conversation filling the air. I sat there, sipping my coffee, feeling like an outsider, yet somehow, I was a part of it all. I was a part of this new life, this new world that I had created for myself. And as I sat there, I knew that I would be okay. I would be more than okay. I would be free. The night wore on. And I found myself lost in thought, my mind wandering to all the what-ifs, all the maybes. But as I sat there, I realized that I didn't have to wonder anymore. I had taken control of my life. And I had created a new reality, one that was mine alone. The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying. But it was mine. As I finished my coffee, I knew that it was time to go. I stood up, my legs a little shaky. But my heart a little stronger. I walked out of the cafe, into the cold night air. And I knew that I would be back. I would be back to this new life, to this new me. And as I disappeared into the night, I knew that I would never be the same again. The darkness seemed to swallow me whole. But I wasn't afraid. I was ready. I was ready to face whatever came next, to face the unknown with a sense of courage and determination. I was ready to take my space, to claim my place in this world. And as I walked away from the cafe, I knew that I would never look back. The city lights blurred together, a kaleidoscope of colors that seemed to fade into the distance. I was no longer a part of that world, no longer a part of that family. I was a part of something new, something that was mine alone. And as I walked into the unknown, I knew that I would find my way. I would find my voice, my strength, and my freedom. The night air was cold. But I felt a sense of warmth spreading through my body. It was a sense of hope, of possibility. I knew that I would stumble, that I would fall. But I also knew that I would rise again, that I would find my way. And as I disappeared into the night, I knew that I would never be alone again. I would have myself. And that would be enough. The darkness seemed to fade away, replaced by a sense of light, of possibility. I knew that I would face challenges, that I would face struggles. But I also knew that I would overcome them, that I would find my way. And as I walked into the unknown, I knew that I would find my true self, my true voice. I would find my space, my place in this world. And I would never let it go. I still remember the day I walked into that diner, the smell of freshly brewed coffee and the sound of sizzling bacon on the grill. It was a cozy little place, with chipped mugs and faded decorations. But it felt like a warm hug on a cold winter day. I had just arrived in town. And I was looking forward to meeting my grandma, who had always been my rock, my confidant. As I scanned the diner, I spotted her sitting in a corner booth, a cup of coffee in front of her, and a warm smile on her face. As I walked towards her, she stood up, and we hugged each other tightly. It had been a while since we'd seen each other, but it felt like no time had passed at all. We sat down, and the waitress came over to take our order. My grandma asked me about my new life, about college, and about the engineering program I was in. I told her everything, from the exciting classes to the challenging projects. And she listened with a keen ear, asking questions and making supportive noises. But as we talked, I could see the concern in her eyes. She noticed the emotional exhaustion etched on my face, the fatigue that had been building up over the past few weeks. She asked me what was wrong. And I hesitated, unsure of how to bring up the topic. But she just looked at me, her eyes filled with love and understanding. And I knew I could trust her. So I told her about Thanksgiving, about my dad's comment, and about how it had made me feel. As I spoke, I could see the anger rising in her eyes, the disgust at my father's words. She shook her head, her voice trembling with emotion. "Oh, Nora, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you had to go through that." She reached out and took my hand, her touch warm and comforting. "You know, I've always known that you're a special kid, with a unique perspective on the world. And I've always been proud of you, no matter what." Her words were like balm to my soul, soothing the wounds that my father's comment had inflicted. I felt a lump form in my throat as I looked at her, tears pricking at the corners of my eyes. No one had ever validated me like that before, no one had ever made me feel like I was enough, just as I was. My grandma's words were a gift, a reminder that I was loved, that I was worthy of love and respect. As we talked, I realized that my grandma had always been the one person in my family who had seen me, who had understood me. She had always been my safe haven, my refuge from the chaos and the criticism. And in that moment, I felt grateful for her love and her support. I knew that I could always count on her, no matter what. As we finished our meal and prepared to leave, my grandma looked at me, her eyes serious. "Nora, I want you to know that I'm proud of you, no matter what. You're a strong, capable young woman. And you deserve all the happiness in the world. Don't let anyone ever make you feel like you're not enough, like you're just taking up space. You are enough, just as you are." Her words lingered in my mind long after we left the diner, long after I returned to my new life in Seattle. They were a reminder that I was loved, that I was valued, and that I was enough. And as I looked back on that Thanksgiving, on the pain and the hurt that my father's comment had caused, I knew that I had made the right decision in leaving, in taking my space 3,000 miles away. I had found a new sense of purpose, a new sense of self. And I had found a new family, a family that loved and accepted me for who I was. But as I walked away from the diner, I couldn't shake off the feeling that my journey was far from over. There were still challenges ahead, still obstacles to overcome. And I knew that I would have to face them head-on, with courage and determination. But for now, I just took a deep breath, feeling the cool winter air fill my lungs. And I smiled, knowing that I was exactly where I was meant to be. Little did I know, my grandma had a secret, one that would change everything I thought I knew about my family. And about myself. As I stepped into Grandma's cozy little house, I was immediately enveloped in the familiar scent of fresh-baked cookies and the warm hum of old jazz music. It was a place where time seemed to stand still. Where the world outside with all its complexities and judgments just melted away. I had always felt a deep sense of comfort and belonging here, a feeling that I was seen and understood in a way that I never was at home. As I made my way through the living room, I noticed that Grandma was busy in the kitchen, her hands moving deftly as she prepared lunch. I decided to explore the house a bit, to see if anything had changed since my last visit. The first thing I noticed was the stack of paperwork on the dining table, a mix of bills, medical records, and what looked like insurance documents. I felt a pang of concern as I began to sift through them, realizing that Grandma was shouldering a lot of financial and medical responsibilities on her own. As I delved deeper into the papers, I discovered that Grandma was struggling to make ends meet, that her pension and Social Security checks were barely covering her living expenses. I saw the worried notes she had scribbled in the margins, the calculations and recalculations of her budget. It broke my heart to think that she was going through this alone, that she was shouldering this burden without anyone to share it with. I felt a surge of determination and responsibility, knowing that I needed to be there for her, to support her in any way that I could. As I looked around the house, I noticed all the little things that she had been doing to cut costs, the thrift store decorations, the carefully planned meals. It was clear that she was doing her best to make do with what she had. But it was also clear that she needed help. As I sat down at the table, surrounded by all these papers and documents, I felt a sense of clarity wash over me. I realized that I had been so focused on my own struggles, on my own journey of self-discovery, that I had forgotten about the people who had been there for me all along. Grandma, with her quiet strength and unwavering support, had been my rock, my safe haven. And now, it was time for me to return the favor. I spent the rest of the day helping Grandma with her paperwork, sorting through the bills and documents, and making sense of it all. We talked about her finances, about her medical concerns, and about her fears for the future. I listened, really listened. And I offered what support and guidance I could. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the house, I felt a sense of peace settle over me. I knew that I had found a new sense of purpose, a new way to make a difference in the world. As we sat down to dinner, Grandma reached out and took my hand, her eyes shining with tears. "Thank you, Nora," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Thank you for being here for me." I smiled, feeling a sense of connection and love that I had never felt before. "I'm not going anywhere, Grandma," I said. "I'm here for you, always." As we ate and talked, I realized that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in our lives. I was no longer just a grandchild, but a caregiver, a supporter, a friend. And Grandma, well, she was no longer just a grandma, but a woman, a person, with her own struggles and fears and dreams. As I looked at her, I saw a strength and resilience that I had never seen before, a sense of determination that inspired me to be a better person. As the evening drew to a close, I helped Grandma with the dishes. And then we sat down in the living room, watching the stars twinkling outside the window. I felt a sense of contentment wash over me, a sense of belonging and connection that I had never felt before. I knew that this was where I was meant to be, that this was my place in the world. As I looked over at Grandma, I saw a sense of peace and acceptance in her eyes, a sense of knowing that she was not alone. And in that moment, I knew that I had found my true purpose, my true calling. I was not just a person who had been hurt and rejected, but a person who had been given a second chance, a chance to make a difference in the world. And I was determined to make the most of it. The days that followed were a blur of activity, as I helped Grandma with her paperwork and her finances. As we began to make plans for the future, we talked about her moving in with me, about how we could make it work, and about all the things we could do together. And as we talked, I felt a sense of excitement and anticipation, a sense of wonder at what the future held. As I looked at Grandma, I saw a sense of hope and renewal in her eyes, a sense of possibility that I had never seen before. And I knew that I had found my true home, my true family. I had found a sense of belonging and connection that I had never known before. And I was determined to hold on to it, to nurture it, and to make it grow. The journey ahead would not be easy, I knew that. There would be challenges and obstacles, twists and turns. But I was ready, I was prepared. I had found my strength, my resilience, and my purpose. And I was ready to face whatever came next, knowing that I was not alone, that I had Grandma by my side. As I stepped off the plane in Seattle, the misty air enveloped me, a refreshing change from the cold, harsh words that still lingered in my mind. I had left behind the toxicity of my family's judgments, and the weight of their expectations. The 3,000 miles between us felt like a world of difference, and I was ready to start anew. I remember the first time I saw the city, the way the soft light of the morning sun danced across the water, casting a warm glow over the towering skyscrapers. It was as if the city was welcoming me, embracing me with open arms. I threw myself into rebuilding my life, deliberately creating a new identity and sense of purpose. I started by finding a small apartment in a cozy neighborhood, surrounded by quirky cafes and independent bookstores. The smell of freshly brewed coffee and the sound of indie music filled the air, creating a sense of community and belonging. I spent my days exploring the city, discovering hidden gems and secret spots that only us locals knew about. I found solace in the vibrant art scene, attending concerts and exhibitions that showcased the city's diverse talent. And as I wandered through the city's many parks and gardens, I felt a sense of peace and tranquility that I had never known before. At work, I found success and a sense of belonging. My colleagues valued me for my skills and my perspective. And I quickly became an integral part of the team. I remember the first time I received praise from my boss, the way it made me feel seen and heard. It was a small moment. But it was a turning point for me, a reminder that I was capable and deserving of recognition. I started to see myself in a new light. As a capable and confident individual, rather than just a daughter or a family member. I began to value myself, my time, and my energy. And I made conscious decisions about how I wanted to spend them. As I settled into my new life, I started to notice the little things that made Seattle so special. The way the mist rolled in off the water, casting a mystical spell over the city. The sound of the seagulls crying overhead, a reminder of the freedom and adventure that lay just beyond the horizon. And the people, oh the people, so diverse and vibrant, each with their own unique story and perspective. I felt like I had finally found my tribe, my community, my sense of belonging. But it wasn't all easy, of course. There were still moments of doubt and uncertainty, times when I felt like I was just pretending to be this new, confident person. There were nights when I lay awake, wondering if I had made a huge mistake. If I was truly cut out for this whole, starting over, thing. And there were days when the loneliness felt overwhelming. When I just wanted to pick up the phone and call my family, to hear their voices and feel their love. But I didn't. I knew that I had to create a new sense of family, a new support system, one that was based on mutual respect and understanding. So I started to build a new community, a network of friends and acquaintances who shared my values and my passions. We would meet up for coffee, or go on hikes, or attend concerts and exhibitions. And slowly but surely, I started to feel like I was part of something bigger than myself, something that was meaningful and fulfilling. I started to see that I didn't need my family's approval or validation to be happy, that I could create my own sense of purpose and belonging. As the months passed, I started to notice the way the city was changing me. I was becoming more confident, more self-assured, more at peace with myself. I was learning to love myself, to accept myself, to forgive myself. And I was starting to see that I didn't need anyone else's love or approval to be whole, that I was already enough, just as I was. I remember the first time I looked in the mirror and saw a strong, capable, and beautiful woman staring back at me. It was a moment of pure joy, a moment of liberation. The imagery of Seattle, with its misty landscapes and soft lights, became a symbol of my newfound freedom. It was a reminder that I was capable of creating my own happiness, my own sense of purpose, my own life. And as I looked out over the water, watching the sun set behind the Olympic Mountains, I knew that I had made the right decision, that I had taken the first step towards creating a life that was truly mine. I felt a sense of excitement and anticipation, knowing that the future was full of possibilities and promise. As I stood there, feeling the mist on my face and the wind in my hair, I realized that I had finally found my true home. It wasn't a physical place, but a sense of being, a sense of belonging to myself. And I knew that no matter where life took me, I would always be able to find my way back to this sense of peace and freedom. I would always be able to find my way back to myself. And so, I took a deep breath, feeling the cool air fill my lungs. And I let go of the past. I let go of the pain, the hurt, the anger. I let go of the need for validation, for approval, for love. And I stepped into the unknown, into the future, into the misty, mysterious landscape of my own creation. I stepped into the freedom of being myself, of living my own life, of creating my own happiness. And I knew that I would never be the same again, that I would never go back to the way things were before. I had taken my space, 3,000 miles away. And I had found my true home. As I stood in my Seattle apartment, surrounded by the warm glow of twinkling lights and the aroma of roasting turkey, I felt a sense of belonging I had never experienced before. It was Christmas. And I had decided to host my chosen family for dinner, a diverse group of people who had become my rock, my support system. And my friends. The long walnut table, once a symbol of formal gatherings, was now a testament to my new identity, a reflection of the person I was becoming. I remember walking around the table, making sure each setting was perfect, each plate and glass in its place. The photos on the wall, a mix of old and new, told the story of my journey, of the people who had been with me every step of the way. My grandma, with her kind eyes and gentle smile, was there. As were my friends from college. As the colleagues who had become like a second family to me. Each face, each story, was a reminder that I was not alone, that I had found my tribe, my people. As I looked around the table, I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. This was my space, my sanctuary. And I had filled it with the people who mattered most to me. The dinner was a celebration of our bond, of the love and support we had for each other. We laughed, we cried, we shared stories. And we made new memories. It was a night to remember, a night that would stay with me forever. The photos from that night, which were later shared online without my knowledge, became a testament to my growing confidence. They showed a woman who was happy, who was at peace, who had found her place in the world. I was no longer the girl who was told she took up space, no longer the woman who was trying to fit into someone else's mold. I was me. And I was proud of it. As I looked at those photos, I realized that I had come a long way. I had found my voice, my passion. And my purpose. I had discovered that I was capable of creating the life I wanted, of building a community that loved and accepted me for who I was. The Christmas dinner was more than just a meal, it was a symbol of my new identity, a declaration of my independence. I think back to that night. And I am filled with gratitude. I am grateful for the people who were there, for the love and support they showed me. I am grateful for the journey that had brought me to this place, for the struggles and the triumphs that had made me stronger. And I am grateful for the realization that I was enough, that I was worthy of love and respect, not just from others, but from myself. As I reflect on that Christmas dinner, I am reminded that our lives are a collection of moments, of choices, and of experiences. We can choose to let the negative define us. Or we can rise above. Or create a new narrative. We can choose to surround ourselves with people who uplift and support us. Or we can settle for those who bring us down. The power is ours. And it is up to us to use it wisely. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of my journey, the struggles and the triumphs. I thought about the people who had been with me, who had supported me, and who had loved me unconditionally. And I knew that I was not alone, that there were others out there who were going through similar struggles, who were fighting to find their place in the world. To them, I want to say that you are not alone. You are seen, you are heard. And you are loved. Your story matters. And your voice deserves to be heard. Don't be afraid to take up space, to stand up for yourself. And to create the life you want. You are enough. And you are worthy of love and respect, not just from others. And from yourself. As I looked around my apartment, now filled with the warmth and love of my chosen family, I knew that I had found my place in the world. I had found my tribe, my people. And my sense of belonging. And I knew that no matter what lay ahead, I would face it with courage, with resilience, and with the knowledge that I was enough. The Christmas dinner was more than just a meal, it was a celebration of my new identity, a declaration of my independence, and a reminder that I was capable of creating the life I wanted. It was a testament to the power of love, support, and community, and a reminder that we are never alone, that we are all in this together. As I closed my eyes, feeling the warmth and love of that night, I knew that I would carry it with me forever. I would carry the memory of the laughter, the tears, and the stories. I would carry the knowledge that I was enough, that I was worthy of love and respect. And I would carry the realization that I had the power to create the life I wanted, to build a community that loved and accepted me for who I was. The Christmas dinner was a turning point in my journey, a moment of clarity and purpose. It was a reminder that our lives are a collection of moments, of choices, and of experiences. And it was a testament to the power of love, support, and community, and the impact it can have on our lives. As I looked to the future, I knew that there would be challenges, there would be struggles, and there would be moments of doubt. But I also knew that I was ready, that I was strong enough, and that I had the support of my chosen family. I was no longer the girl who was told she took up space. I was a woman who had found her place in the world, a woman who was proud of who she was, and a woman who was ready to take on whatever came next. And as I stood there, surrounded by the people and the memories that I loved, I knew that I would always carry the spirit of that Christmas dinner with me. I would carry the love, the laughter, and the sense of belonging. And I would carry the knowledge that I was enough, that I was worthy of love and respect, and that I had the power to create the life I wanted. The Christmas dinner was a night to remember, a night that would stay with me forever. It was a celebration of my new identity, a declaration of my independence, and a reminder that I was capable of creating the life I wanted. And as I looked to the future, I knew that I would always cherish the memory of that night, and the sense of belonging that it brought me. As the night came to a close, and my guests departed, I was left with a sense of peace and contentment. I knew that I had found my place in the world, and that I had the support of my chosen family. And I knew that no matter what lay ahead, I would face it with courage, with resilience, and with the knowledge that I was enough. The Christmas dinner was a testament to the power of love, support, and community. It was a reminder that we are never alone, that we are all in this together. And it was a celebration of my new identity, a declaration of my independence, and a reminder that I was capable of creating the life I wanted. As I drifted off to sleep, surrounded by the warmth and love of that night, I knew that I would always carry the spirit of the Christmas dinner with me. I would carry the love, the laughter, and the sense of belonging. And I would carry the knowledge that I was enough, that I was worthy of love and respect, and that I had the power to create the life I wanted. And as I looked to the future, I knew that I would always cherish the memory of that night, and the sense of belonging that it brought me. I would carry it with me, and I would use it to guide me, to support me, and to remind me of my worth. The Christmas dinner was a night to remember, a night that would stay with me forever, and a reminder that I was enough. I was settling into my new life in Seattle, surrounded by the people and the work I loved, when my phone rang, shrill in the silence. I hesitated for a moment, my heart sinking as I saw the familiar number from Indianapolis. It was my dad, and I knew that call wouldn't be a friendly one. I took a deep breath and picked up, steeling myself for whatever was about to come my way. "Dad, what's up?" I asked, trying to sound casual, though my mind was racing with possibilities. His voice was furious on the other end, the words spilling out in a torrent. What's all this I hear about you and your new family out there? People are talking, Nora. They're saying you've replaced us, that you're ashamed of where you come from. I could feel my anger rising. But I kept my tone even, a skill I'd honed over years of dealing with his outbursts. I didn't post those pictures, Dad. And even if I had, what's wrong with me having a life of my own? I asked, my voice steady. But before he could respond, another voice interrupted, firm and authoritative. That's enough, John. It was Grandma, her voice a welcome respite from the tension. Nora has every right to her own life. And she's not replacing anyone. She's just finding her own way, something you should be proud of. There was a pause, a moment of silence that felt like a crack in the foundation of our family dynamics. For the first time, I heard a flicker of uncertainty in my dad's voice. Mom, stay out of this, he said. But Grandma wasn't having it. No, John, I won't stay out of it. Nora deserves respect and understanding, not criticism and judgment. You should be supporting her, not tearing her down. I felt a surge of gratitude towards Grandma, her words a balm to my soul. No one had ever stood up for me like that before, especially not against my dad. It was a turning point, a moment when I realized I didn't have to face everything alone. Dad, I think we need to talk about this in person, I said, the idea forming in my mind as I spoke. But I have one condition: if you come to Seattle, it has to be as equals. No more hierarchy, no more judging. We sit down like adults and talk. The line went silent. And for a moment, I wondered if I'd overstepped. But then my dad spoke, his voice gruff but resigned. Fine. We'll come to Seattle. But Nora, you need to understand. I do understand, Dad, I interrupted, my voice firm. I understand that things are going to change. And I'm okay with that. The call ended shortly after, the conversation hanging in the air like a challenge. I felt a mix of emotions, anticipation, apprehension. But most of all, a sense of determination. I was ready for whatever came next, ready to assert my boundaries and claim my space in the world. As I put down the phone, I couldn't help but think about how far I'd come. From the basement of my childhood home, where I found solace in machines and solitude, to this new life in Seattle, where I was building a family of my own choosing. It wasn't easy. And it wasn't always smooth. But with each step, with each decision to stand up for myself, I felt myself becoming stronger, more resilient. The call from my dad was just the beginning. It was a confrontation that had been brewing for years, a clash of wills and values. But it was also an opportunity, a chance for me to assert my independence and forge a new path. As I looked out at the city, the misty air swirling around the skyscrapers, I felt a sense of peace settle over me. I knew that no matter what lay ahead, I was ready. I was ready to face my family, to face myself, and to find my own way in the world. The days that followed were a blur of preparation and anticipation. I thought about what I wanted to say to my parents, about how I wanted to approach the conversation. I thought about the table, the symbol of my newfound sense of self-worth, and how I wanted to use it to facilitate our discussion. And I thought about Grandma, her words of wisdom and support echoing in my mind like a mantra. As the day of their visit approached, I felt my nerves building. What would happen when we sat down together? Would we be able to find common ground? Or would the old patterns of behavior resurface? I didn't have the answers. But I was ready to face whatever came my way. I was ready to stand up for myself, to assert my boundaries, and to forge a new path forward. The doorbell rang, and I took a deep breath. It was time to face my family, to face the past, and to shape the future. I opened the door, a sense of calm washing over me. My parents stood there, their faces a mix of emotions. My mom looked subdued, her eyes cast downward, while my dad scanned the apartment, his eyes searching for something to criticize. But I wasn't having it. I stood tall, my shoulders back, and invited them in. The conversation that followed was stiff at first, but as we sat down at the table, something shifted. My mom began to open up, to share her own feelings and fears. And my dad, though resistant at first, began to listen, to hear me in a way he never had before. It was a start, a fragile beginning. But as we talked, as we shared our stories and our truths, I felt a sense of hope rising up. Maybe, just maybe, we could find a way forward, a way to heal and to rebuild. The journey ahead wouldn't be easy. But I was ready. I was ready to face it head on, to assert my boundaries, and to forge a new path forward. And as I looked at my parents, I knew that no matter what lay ahead, would always stand up for myself, and for the life I deserved to live. When my dad called demanding I return home for New Year's, something in me finally shifted. I agreed, but only if we sat as equals. No head of the table. No hierarchy. His long pause told me everything. He hated it, but he said yes. In the days that followed, I realized how often I'd made myself small to fit into his expectations. I was done with that. I stood straighter, spoke clearer, and started reclaiming my own space. Then came the surprise. My parents decided to come to Seattle instead. When they arrived, they looked out of place in my apartment, my world, not his. I'd set the table with equal seats, and the discomfort on my dad's face was unmistakable. The first conversations were stiff, but slowly, honesty cracked the silence. My mom opened up about her own struggles. My dad's defenses wavered. And for the first time, I told him the truth: you never made me feel enough. His reply, quiet, shaky, caught me off guard. I didn't know how to love you the way you needed. It didn't fix everything, but it opened a door. By the end of the night, something had shifted between us. My dad agreed to visit as an equal, not as the man at the head of the table. My parents left with a promise to try, and I stayed with a peace I'd never felt before. I wasn't moving back. I wasn't shrinking again. I had built a life 3,000 miles away, and found myself in the process. This was just the beginning. But for the first time, it felt like a beginning on my terms.